Yo, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do so. Link is in, I'm going with this one, confidence, this corner. Okay, so if you recognize this site from the very little bit you can see, so right above my head on the previous video, there was absolutely tons of cables hanging out the ceiling, and we came back to make it all safe. So it was incredibly difficult to actually do the filming because there was loads of things going on, builders in, chippies in, all sorts of stuff. So today I'm back doing the first fix for the kitchen, so that is what I'm starting with today. It is the afternoon for me, so I'm not going to be able to get all that done today, but I'm going to go about showing you how I get started. It is literally the site to myself, couldn't be any better, so absolute perfect. So let's get stuck into the video. So as you can see, it is a completely empty shell. So we've got lots of steels going on. So the gist of it is the kitchen's going to be in this area running round. There is a utility room behind that boarding there. So I have got a kitchen plan, which I have gone round and marked on what I want. Say what I want, what the client wants, but also what I think is going to work best for this room as well on different things. So I've used a little bit of color magic, just so I can go on there, just so I can stay focused, because of, like with ADHD, I can drift off. Who knew? So I can drift off and do things. So this helps me stay very, very focused. I will have the music on because I find that helps me as well. Funnily enough, I don't know why I'm even telling you that, but it is what it is. So what I'm going to go and do is actually mark out the kitchen units so I know where they are, and then what we're going to use is the spit nailer and start firing on all the back boxes where we need them to be. So we have got in this corner here, we've got a massive walk-in larder, which is like in this corner here. So what I said to the client, because there was no discussion on actual plan as such for that, so what I've said to the client is you're going to need a light and stuff in there, because when you're opening that, it's going to be a little bit of a pain. So we've got a few little various bits and bobs in there. There's no power in that little section over there where all the builders stuff is. So we have leading down into, so on that very end where you can see where the steel comes in there, you've got the oven going in there. And then we've got a 900 drawer pack. We've then got another 900 drawer pack where the hob's going to be, and there's also going to be the extractor fan above there. So obviously we need power for both of those. So we've got another 800 drawer. Then it goes into a corner unit, which is down here. 900 base, 1000 base with the sink in it. Dishwasher integrated, and then I've got two 600s, which is basically where you are now. So we've also, where there's a post literally just here, I'm not sure whether that's in shot or not, but around that there is actually going to be a sort of island as well, incorporating that post. So off the top of that, we're going to have two decorative drop lights, as I'm going to call them. So we've got those, we've got downlights that are going in, but obviously with the regulations being tightened up, should we say, on not breaking all the way through the Celotex, or the thermal barrier. So what we're going to have to do is do it in sort of two stages. So I've spoke to the builder, so we're going to get my cables in loosely. He's then going to insulate these bits. I'm going to pop back because you're going to have to batten those down, because you need a continuous path all the way through. He's going to batten those down, then we're going to use the shallow depth downlights and stuff in there and get those sorted. So behind you over here, so let's spin you round. So behind over here, we haven't finalised the design and stuff over here yet with the customer, but we're not sure whether the telly's going to be on here or on here, so we just need to finalise those few little bits, which is fine. That's the way it is. It's the nature of the beast. There is some outside lights going on. There's also a double socket that we're going to stick on that end, because potentially there might be, so we're going to might run that on an individual, I'm not quite sure yet, as an individual circuit. So that's what we're up to. So I've also got to run load of cables in. Utility room is pretty straightforward. There's a little L-shaped units that are going in. There's a washing machine going in there, tumble dryer, sink, and And that's basically it. There's not a massive amount in there. I believe it's a centre light. I'll have to double check on that one. But yeah, so that's it. So there's no instant boil, nothing like that. We've got the heat sensor, which is, like I said in the previous video. So the gist of it is there's been another electrician come in previously. He's no longer on the scene, and we've took over all the electrics. But what he has done is he rewired the upstairs, and he's no longer here. So you can read into that whatever you want. But he has put a provision in which is actually powered up and energized up at the minute, where the other electrician is left up here, so which is this one here. So that is the heat sensor, which we're now going to extend and obviously put that in. Well, you shouldn't have to extend it, there's a loads on there. We're going to bring that into the new build. So yeah, so I'm just going to mark up where everything is. So a little bit of a top tip for you, because of marking it onto the block work, is there's obviously always on site, there's always a little bit of plaster kicking about. So I just grab a little bit of board and I use that as a marker. It's as simple as that. It doesn't need to be any more. So I'm going to get all these units all marked out so I know where everything is, and then we'll jump back in. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. So we've got our oven, so we're going to put an oven supply in the top of the housing up there. We've got a double socket that we're going to whack above here. We've got our hob and extractor fan. So I need to configure which way I'm going to put all the isolators and stuff, because I don't like too much on show. It's all going to be fairly messy if we're not careful. So we've got 2 double sockets here, another one here, another one over there. Dishwasher supply, so obviously so that's why I write on what exactly is going there. So obviously a hob, dishwasher. So dishwasher, what I normally do is put the socket to the left hand side of that. So in this case it's the sink. It's 1,000 sink unit, which is massive. Don't really know why it's that big, but it is what it is. Yeah, so pretty much straightforward. So that is how I go about doing all of my setting out for the job. So we're going to get on with the spit nailer and get firing some of these on. Okay, so first fix is obviously we're going to be putting our back boxes on. These are 25 mil. You can go more for 35, but it would mean that we've got to then chase out, so chase the back of the block, which we're not going to do. So when you've got dot and dab on and your plasterboard, roughly works out to be about 25 mil anyway. And with the accessories that we're going with, if they do want to have the USB versions, which some of them are, the manufacturer ones that we're using, 25 is more than okay. So if you were using other ones, yes, with USBs, they recommend the 35 mil on some of them, but not the ones that we're using. So we've set up the green beam laser, which you're not going to be able to see on the camera anyway. So what on this one I'm doing is I'm just going the center of this wall. Should be, when I can see it, I'm probably in the way of it. Here we go. So in the center of that. So we're using the spit nailer, so we're using the 27 mil nails with this one. So it's perfectly designed really for doing first fix like this. Speeds up everything. So what I normally do is put 3 fixings in, and that's it, done. So the space of a few seconds, you can whack all these in and it just speeds everything up. So for me, it's perfect. So we've got all the back boxes on in this room, what we need. So we've got everything else sorted. So like the oven, we're just going to leave a tail coming through, which is going to go into that larder unit. So the extractor fan, we've got one up there. we've got all these in, so what I'm going to do is go around doing my knockouts where I need to. So I'm probably going to run parallel all the way along to this point. So come in from, because the consumer unit, tell you what, I'll take you down and show you the consumer unit in a second, but consumer unit basically is down that way. So I'm going to run along the joists, come across to my first port of call, which is going to be that first one, drop across. I've obviously got to put my isolators in, which I'm probably going to put in the oven housing next to the actual oven isolator. But yeah, so plenty to be doing. Right, so basically the consumer unit is down here and it's just inside the garage. So it comes in line with this trunking above my head and it's literally sort of about here. But also we've got the gas mains there. So what I'm going to do is I've got to open the garage up and there's loads of stuff going in there. So I'm going to bring all my cables up to this point, but I'm going to lower the board down. So I've got to allow for that to be dropped. So another thing to make fly on the face to be aware of is, so above me is the joist depth is only six inches, I believe. So you can't then go whacking in a massive hole on each one. So we all know somebody's done that before on Insta and it all kicked off. So although I can't mention names, but it happened. All right, so somebody drilled a 4-inch hole through. We all know who that was. But you know, such is life. We all make mistakes. It happens. So in here, this is the utility room. So like I say, we've got a washing machine going in. There is obviously still concrete and stuff like that that are going on in here. So washing machine, sink is in this location. So the likelihood is double socket there, maybe one on that wall with an isolator to power up for the dishwasher, for the unit next to it. That's what I'm guessing for. Maybe a tumble dryer in here. We haven't confirmed anything just yet. So my cable runs, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them all the way through. So I'm going to drill all these joists out now, get them all ready. So getting back to the main bit of the room. But for those plumbers out there, I'm going to put this on Instagram in a second, okay? So these pipes that have gone in, so these are hot and cold feeds. So these are hot and cold feeds, obviously, for the sink that go all the way around. Fine. So they come round, track round, come up here. Now, am I right? So our cables, right, where possibly you can, they need to be clipped along their length, right? For obvious reasons, for premature collapse and all that. The plumbers not have to do the same thing. So as it stands right now, we've got pipes that lead through here, the steels, and it's those pipes there, those hot and colds are basically resting on these cables that are in situ. So those cables up there and up there, I mean, yes, you can get over it, you can put a bit of lagging on so they're not in direct contact, completely understand that, but surely, regardless of that, they should be supported across their length because they're going to bounce and all sorts. So I'm going to reach out on Instagram, but also leave it in your comments below. Let me know whether that's actually a thing or whether plumbers have just got a rule to themselves and they can do whatever the hell they want. Who knows? Drilling out the joists, what we've just done. Okay, so I've set up the laser level down here. So like I said, because of the joist sizes, you can't go mental. So it's a 25mm hole max that we can drill out to do with the spacing of the joist. So I think it's on the on-site guide. There is a section on there to do with obviously notches and drilling out. So go and check that out. I'll try and see if I can remember to put it on, but it's highly unlikely. But obviously in the on-site guide, what it basically says is that, so if you've got a 25mm hole, I think off the top of my head, you have to be 4 times the distance away from that, okay? From the hole that you've drilled, I believe. Yeah, something like that anyway. So we've done 2 rows all the way down now, back to where the board location is going to be. So that, my next headache, as you can probably gather, is I've got a steel running across here, closing me off, and I've got a steel running across here that closes me off. So I've got some pipe work, which obviously has been drilled through. So my plan to get me over this side, so what I'm going to do is I'm drilling through the steel So drilling through the steel, I've made a start on it up there. Yeah, bit of a pain. We have got a mag drill, which, because obviously all the construction side of the business, we have got that, but I haven't got it with me. So I am using that bad boy is what we're using at the minute. Plenty of WD on there, because obviously, you know, as you're drilling out anything steel, you need to be keeping it well lubricated. So that's what I'm doing at the minute, but obviously it's not the most fun. Bit of a pain. So the idea is, what I'm going to do is going to be drill the rest of these joists out, come along that way, and then that gets me onto like the oven or all that side of the building, and then I can clip along the surface at the top. I can even sneak it in because they've put some noggins in that steel over there. There's plenty to be getting on with, but like I say, time is dragging on, and I'm going to be getting that drilled out. Okay, one hole down, so I'm just going to transfer the hole from one side to the other and then get drilling. The only thing is I'm going to have to move a few little bits and bobs out the way. Okay, so the hole's drilled out now. It was a bit of a task, in fairness, so it's drilled through both sides. It has knackered that drill bit, that's not going to lie, that's gone. That is no more. It took one for the team. It isn't a new bit anyway, so it's not really, it is what it is, what can you say? It's one of them, it took one for the Green Hawk team. So I've now got our run all the way through, so we have drilled the rest of these out now. So above my head, we've gone all the way down to the end, which you can probably see. So I'm sticking with the 2 at the minute. I'm sticking it with the 2 because I think we might be okay with the 2. So I'm going to start getting some cables run now. So I'm going to get the oven in. So I'm going to run that in 4mm because it's only a 32 amp supply, and that's more than enough for the length of run and cable drop and all that sort of stuff. It's fine. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to get on with that, start running in some 2.5mm at the same time. Back down there, but obviously the time is running on, it is 3:30, so we shall see how far we get. But yeah, so these cables here, these old original ones, they will go, they're not staying. They lead down to a socket, which is like the builder's temporary supply at the minute, and obviously they're all going to be within the building. Within the building? Whatever, they're going to go anyway, and it's all going to be dot and dabbed, so right. Anyway, better get the old cable jacks out. Some of the cables have been run now, so these 3 here, so I've got a hob circuit, oven circuit, and then the beginning of the ring. Okay, so in the kitchens, I always put a ring final in, or ring main is what obviously everybody calls them. I always put that in because of the high load capacity that carries. Obviously 32 amp. Yes, I could do a 4mm radial, but I just prefer doing it this way. So the ring is going to be for basically this kitchen area. Then the lounge snug sort of thing is going to be another radial, because we don't need that much over there. And same with potentially the utility, we might put that on the ring as well. It's not a big deal. Don't make a big thing of it. It is what it is. So with these, okay, so we're going to leave them loose for now because I don't need to be faffing about doing loads of tidying up, because as more and more cables are going in, I will then dress them all in nice and neat to get them sorted. So what I'm going to be doing is put my isolators in the oven housing at the top. So that is going to be taken care of. So I've now got my ring to up here. So I'm now going to put a flying lead from here, drill behind the roof timber, well, the wall plate that's been drilled on, and get my extractor isolator in. So that's up there, done and dusted, because I like to keep everything as neat as possible and away from everything. So I'm going to get those bits in, and then I'm going to start running down. So from the oven housing as such, I'm then going to go back up and then drop down into this socket here, and then I'm going to come across and start pinging them all the way across, so all the way round to where, just behind where you are. And then I'm going to go back up, and then I'm going to go across to that socket, which is obviously to the right hand side of the window, if you remember on previous clips. Then I'm going to drop it down underneath the sink, back up again, so following obviously prescribed zones, and then I'm going to clip along the very, very top of the roof line, drop it down into where this steel is, because there's going to be power in there, so there might be a wine cool or something like that. It's not been completely finalised yet, but I'd be stupid not to put some power in there. Even if it's never used, it needs to go in. So we're going to drop that in there, and then basically then I've got to go all the way back to the board. So I've got the cables down the entranceway, the alleyway there, all ready to go, ready for the board, so there's plenty of length on them, so when we can finalise the position. So the tricky bit that I've got is actually getting from this section back into there, so I could go all the way back round and back through that hole and then down, which is maybe which way I'm going to go. But yeah, but first things first, I've drilled out underneath the wall plate up there, so hopefully you can, so up here, so that wall plate that's along, so I've drilled out underneath there. I need to drill another few bits this end, because I've got 100 mil, 150 mil into this corner up here, where I can run my cables all the way up here. But bearing in mind that this timber here has been nailed in that way, so the chances are if I drill here, I'm going to catch the nails, because they're 90 mil nails, and I would put money on it that they are slightly into that block work, and we're just going to undo everything. So I'll probably come out a little bit, so the nails start here, I'll come out just about 10-15 mil this side of them, drill through, and then this area here is going to have loose wool insulation in it, so I'm not going to worry too much about all that. Yeah, so quite a lot going on, and yeah, not too bad at the minute, in fairness. So I'm going to chase out a little bit underneath here so I can tuck my cables in and get them all nice and neat. Okay, so we're starting to put in all the clips in. So what I tend to do is have this nice and tight on this end. So we will whack a clip in, and then you can pull this end much tighter, fold it over slightly. And what I tend to do on these is just follow the lines of the blocks. So you'll just drop one in here and here and here. But I'm going to show you another tip. If you don't know the plasterers, which we don't here, haven't got a clue. Okay, so I'm going to show you a handy tip to make sure your boxes stay nice and clean, because we don't know the plasterer here, I don't know what they're like. I mean, they're more than likely absolutely sound, but equally it's going to be a lot easier for me to make sure that I come back and it's all ready to go nice and clean. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about doing that. Right, I want to have a shout out to Tradeify. So today the video is sponsored by Tradeify. So if you don't know what that is, it's a job management software. So I'm going to give you an example on this particular job. So if we were working away and the client comes in, because it always happens, the client says, actually Mike, can I have an extra socket on there? Not a problem. So I can jump back in the van, jump on Tradeify app and just amend the original quote. They can accept it there and then, and everybody gets on swimmingly. The other thing is what people don't realise is when I came out to do this quote here, right on this very job, is I actually gave the customers options. So there's an option setting on there, so you can choose between whether you wanted white accessories or brush chrome. So all our standard fit is white white accessories, and obviously we add an option on there of, do you want brush chrome, do you want an outside light, do you want an outside socket, and all these options can be added onto the bottom. The client with no pressure can accept or decline, which has helped our business to actually increase our turnover. So if you want to use the free trial is what we did. There is genuinely, it's a free trial. Don't put no bank details in or anything. There is going to be a link in the description below. Make sure you hit that. Have a little go with it. Honestly, you'll be really pleased if you do. Use the promo code GHawk50. You'll get 50% off for the first 3 months. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little tip now on how to make sure that your back boxes stay nice and clean. So we are in our first fix now. So make sure that you wrap your cables up, get them all out of the way, because we all know that you can come back to them and they're all smashed out and cables are cut short and all the rest of it. So get yourself some tank tape. Cover the front. Completely up. And that way, when you come back, all you've got to do then is cut round them, and you're going to have no plaster in there, no plaster all over your cables. You can get them prepped if you want for your socket accessory, but that is the best way I find to do it. So that is it. I pretty much ran out of time, unfortunately, so I've got to have a bit of a square up, and yeah, we all get slated as Sparkies that we never tidy up. It's not true. So like I say, hopefully that little tip does, you know, save you a little bit of arguments between, because let's face it, the plasterers want to make their money and they don't want to be faffing about working around all your cables and stuff. So it's a little bit of helping each other out, you know, is always beneficial. Make sure you do so. And every site will run a little bit smoother. You know, it's not world peace, let's be honest. It is what it is. But I think if we can all try and do a little bit to help the next guy out, should be beneficial. Like on this job, the likelihood is that the builder's going to come back in and go, oh, okay, wow, they sorted all that out, and he's going to recommend me on, you know, to more and more jobs, and that's how it's going to work. So like I say, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do so. Let's get this channel to grow. We are talking about doing a giveaway as well. I just can't work out what number we're going to do it at, whether it's 15k giveaway or 20k giveaway. I'm not quite sure. There's a little sneak preview for it, but hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I shall catch you on the next one.